After getting fired by his friends,
Not working out?
Butters had been beaten down for too long.
You're just too... lame.
Lame, yes.
Now the world shall feel the wrath of Professor Chaos!
This is the story of Professor Chaos. Okay, it all started in season 6 when Butters steps in to replace Kenny, who is dead. And not that kind of dead, I mean he's really dead, like in heaven kind of dead. And let's not understate the fact that this is the first time Butters is part of a real friend group.
We're just really happy that your boys have become such good friends with our little Butters.
So he does absolutely everything the boys tell him to. They fatten him up just so that he can make money off his weight loss. They send him on the Maury Povich show with some balls on his chin. And they use him in every dumb plan they can come up with. But this isn't the first time Butters has been abused. We have already seen how batshit crazy his parents are in Butters' very own episode.
Damn you, Internet!
And how he was one of the dorky Stan's angels way back in Two Guys Naked in a Hot Tub, which Stan refers to as
You guys are Melvins, and I'm not one of you.
And the thing is, Butters is always stuck in the middle, between the boys and his parents.
Butters, where did you get that kind of smart mouth?
Not from you dumbasses, that's for sure.
He never truly fits anywhere, always taking the blame from both sides, while no one is willing or wanting to listen.
You don't even know the trouble you're in, mister!
What'd I do?
Do you think you're tough now? Answer me!
And all of that builds up to the climax in his self-titled episode, Professor Chaos. Getting fired from his new friend group is his breaking point. Years of neglect, torment, and humiliation finally make Butters explode. And from the rubble, the most evil supervillain South Park has ever seen emerges. While the boys are holding auditions for a new friend,
And so Stan and Kyle and I will be spending the next few days going out with each one of you and narrowing our choices down until we think we've found the perfect friend. Are there any questions?
Butters is busy transforming into Professor Chaos, forging his indestructible armor out of the finest material known to mankind, aluminum foil. Once suited up, he sets to unleash his evil upon the world, starting with the most diabolical act imaginable. Switching soups at the local restaurant, he calmly watches as pure chaos unfolds when the customers gets the wrong orders.
Waitress, I actually ordered the chicken soup. This is minestrone.
Yeah, I had the minestrone over here.
But Professor Chaos doesn't stop there. When Mr. Chokes on Dick accidentally leaves her eraser on the playground, he buries it in his backyard, fully expecting chaos the next day.
Alright children, before we get started, has anybody seen the eraser for the chalkboard?
But she's one step ahead. She's got a backup, so Chaos has to improvise.
I'm going to the bathroom now. If anybody needs me, that's where I'll be.
Just go, Butters.
And moments later, Professor Chaos bursts back in fully costume to dramatically announce his evil deed. And when he returns as Butters, no one suspects a thing, since he was conveniently shoved aside earlier.
Butters, did you see another little kid run out of here?
Why, yes, I did. But he pushed me down and I scraped my elbow. Go on, look at it. It's scraped. Look.
However, despite all his efforts, none of his evil schemes make the news. Butters concludes that it must be because the liberal media is suppressing the story to prevent mass panic. But this chaos doesn't go completely unnoticed. One day, he receives a mysterious note, which he immediately assumes is from the FBI. He goes to meet his contact at the docks, only to find another lonely outcast waiting for him.
I I'm an outcast too.
His name is Dougie, a fellow outcast who eagerly wants to join Butters' evil crusade. Professor Chaos dubs him General Disarray, and from that moment on, he becomes his loyal sidekick. Together, they set their sights on their first grand plan, unleashing a flood of biblical proportions on the town, armed with nothing but a garden hose.
Is this it?
Yeah, 213, that's the one.
Hey, what are you doing?
But they don't give up that easily. The episode ends with the two of them spraying hairspray into the sky, determined to destroy the Earth's atmosphere and finally send the world into pure chaos. Already in the very next episode, Professor Chaos returns in The Simpsons Already Did It, picking up right where we left him. Meanwhile, the boys are busy creating their own underwater sea people society in another subplot. Professor Chaos' first brilliant plan is to block out the sun and plunge South Park into darkness. But here he meets his first real obstacle: originality.
Cool, it'll be just like on The Simpsons.
General Disarray cleverly points out that Mr. Burns already did it in The Simpsons. Frustrated but determined, Butters switches to a new plan and decapitates the head of a local statue. For the first time, one of his evil deeds actually makes the news.
This act, of course, reminded us all of the time that Bart Simpson took the head of the Springfield statue in one of their classic episodes.
Police even refuse to investigate, deciding to leave it as a tribute to the show. Now, even more frustrated, Butters keeps coming up with new ideas, only to get the same response from Disarray every time.
Simpsons did it!
Eventually, he becomes so obsessed with being original that he locks himself inside to watch every single episode of The Simpsons, desperate to come up with something that they haven't done before. In his last-ditch effort, he invents a machine that replaces cherry centers with mayonnaise. Convinced he has finally struck gold. Even Disarray haven't seen this on The Simpsons.
You've never seen this on The Simpsons, right?
No, I think The Simpsons would be more clever than that.
Good.
But then,
Bart builds a machine that takes the cherries out of chocolate-covered cherries and replaces instead with mayonnaise.
even a mastermind supervillain like Chaos can only take so much. So, he completely loses his mind. Later, when Stan and Kyle invite him to see their sea people civilization, he isn't even impressed. He's horrified. All he can see is Lisa's tooth society. Chef also reassures Professor Chaos that even The Simpsons have borrowed elements from other shows. However, unknowingly, Chef just made the biggest mistake of his life, turning Professor Chaos back on track for destruction.
I feel like a spring chicken. I'm ready to wreak havoc once again.
After his big debut, Professor Chaos starts popping up here and there in smaller moments, like in the episode My Future Self and Me.
Well, if Professor Chaos were here, he'd make everyone pay. Who's that?
Butters proudly shows off his Professor Chaos costume to Stan.
Now you know my terrible secret. You're gay?
In Crazy Kripples, Christopher Reeve's Secret Legion of Doom has an emergency meeting with all of South Park's supervillains, like Dr. Octopus, Dr. Doom, Saddam Hussein.
Death to the infidels.
Sure. And the worst of them all, Professor Chaos.
Oh boy, General Disarray. Maybe we just ought to stay out of this one.
And in the episode I'm a Little Bit Country, Professor Chaos makes a brief appearance during the big musical number and the celebration of 100 South Park episodes.
Gah! Gah!
Professor Chaos returns in Good Times with Weapons, where we get his first truly epic showdown. After the boys buys ninja weapons and starts playing their anime-style fantasy, Butters wants to join, but the boys refuse, so he returns as the infamous supervillain Professor Chaos. What follows is one of the sickest sequences in the entire show, with the soundtrack to match it.
Hey, let's go, Kinkasuru! Taisatsu mono, protect my balls!
Tamasura water is a let's fighting rub.
Let's fighting love!
Yeah, it's a pretty good song. And yes, feel free to give me praise in the comments. Anyways, back to Professor Chaos. Stan attacks first, launching fire at Chaos, but he blocks it with his titanium cloak. Simultaneously, Kyle flanks him with an icy blast from his nunchucks, but Chaos is ready. He throws his net of destruction, trapping both Stan and Kyle. Balrog tries to use his powers, but they have been stripped because he had too many. In desperation, Kyle gives them back, only for Cartman to immediately use them to turn him into a chicken. That leaves Kenny as their last hope. In the final move, he throws a ninja star straight into Chaos's eye. Realizing the severity of the situation, the boys panic, not because Butters is injured, but because they might get into trouble for playing with weapons. So they come up with a plan to disguise Professor Chaos as a dog and take him to the animal hospital. But suddenly, they're confronted by the biggest asshole of them all.
You can't pass through this area until you defend your honor! He said not now, Craig!
The asshole, Craig, and his crew leaves the ninjas with no choice but to fight. As the battle of Tokugawa gets intense, Professor Chaos manages to sneak away.
Can you help him, Doctor?
I'm afraid I wouldn't know how. Unfortunately for this little fella, I'm a people doctor. Best we call the animal shelter.
The wounded Chaos escapes the animal prison and makes his way down to the town fair. When the boys get word of his location, they rush there, only to find themselves at the wrong side of the stage. Thankfully, Balrog uses his power of invisibility to sneak past the stage.
Butters!
And to no surprise, the parents are furious about Cartman's public indecency, not the fact that Professor Chaos has almost been blinded. And the rest of the boys are happy to throw Cartman under the bus.
My fragile little 8-year-old mind didn't know how to deal with what I was seeing. Cartman should be punished.
Yeah!
That's right!
I agree!
Hey, you care?
While playing with General Disarray in his backyard, Butters' mom shows up with a police officer, asking if he's seen Cartman recently. After they leave, Butters suddenly wonders out loud if anything bad could happen if someone froze themselves and then unfroze 3 weeks later. Disarray tells him in a rather cold tone.
You die?
Chaos immediately panics and rushes with Disarray to the mountain spot where he helped Cartman freeze himself, only to find it empty. Terrified, he freaks out, but General Disarray calmly reassures him and convinces him to keep quiet, otherwise he'd go to jail. Then the two flee the scene.
Sometimes it seems the more criminals I try to stop, the more just come out of the back alleys and dilapidated bars. The city is a dying whore. She calls out to me to save her, and I don't know if I can.
Look what the cat dragged in.
Professor Chaos makes his grand return in the cow, which marks the beginning of the superhero versus supervillain saga in South Park. I guess Professor Chaos really is a trendsetter, huh? 2 new heroes emerge to fight crime. Rather late if you ask Professor Chaos. Good question, but an even better question is...
Who exactly is Mysterion? Well, I think he's kind of a symbol for the town, you know? A symbol that everyone who's sick of crime can rally behind.
fucking butthole.
And when the cow gets jealous of his mysterious rival, he turns to the criminal underworld for help, where he naturally finds Chaos. Professor Chaos toys with him at first, before General Disarray swings in to take him down. But the cow quickly convinces them to team up and uncover Mysterion's identity. The three of them head to their super evil lair, which is in General Disarray's grandma's storage unit. Cartman is kinda pissed when he finds out Chaos and Disarray is not closer to uncovering Mysterion's identity, and it does not help that they suspect him for being the cow based on body shape. Like a true superhero, the cow convinces Chaos to send in a video to the news with a threat of blowing up a hospital unless Mysterion reveals his identity. I really wonder where they got that idea. Chaos delivers the line in the video super convincingly.
The choice is yours, Mysterion. Unmask yourself or hundreds will die. Ha ha ha. Jesus Christ!
Together, they set up the TNT, but just as the cow goes to fetch the trigger, Mysterion arrives. General Disarray panics and bolts, leaving Chaos to face him alone. The two engage in an epic public showdown as the police snipers take aim.
Think I can get a shot at Chaos, sir? You think your bullets can hurt him?
Disarray eventually returns, and together, the supervillain managed to take Mysterion down, but as the crowd gasps in shock at his apparent death, he suddenly rises from the ground. Maybe a subtle hint about who Mysterion really is. And Disarray runs off again in fear. Chaos and Mysterion continue their fight until Bruce Villange shows up to help. I mean the cow, who then betrays Chaos and switches sides. In the end, Cow and Mysterion defeat Chaos. But wherever the story goes, Chaos follows.
Fellas, could you let me out, please? It's been like 6 days.
Professor Chaos returns in the Cow trilogy with a massive role. We first see him in Cow to Hindsight, trapped in Cow's completely unbreakable holding cell. Luckily for Chaos, at least he's got a bucket full of food in there. He gets a bit more involved later in the episode when there's an oil spill, but instead of focusing on the actual problem, the Cow is more concerned with beating Captain Hindsight. His plan is to dress up Chaos as Courtney Love and take pictures with a naked homeless guy, then Photoshop Hindsight's face onto it.
Me? Oh, come on, fellas, don't make me be Courtney Love.
Fortunately for Chaos, Mosquito hates the idea and comes up with a better one.
I think we should help raise money for the relief aid by having a bake sale.
A bake sale.
A bake sale to raise money for the spill. Wow. Of course, later on, Hindsight ends up getting photos of Chaos dressed up as Courtney Love with a naked homeless guy and Hindsight's face edited in.
Of course it's Courtney Love! But when did you have a— I don't remember!
Which leads the Cow to being kicked out of Cow and Friends. Chaos shows up again in the following episode, Mysterion Rises, when Hindsight infiltrates their base to find his blackmailer. He finds Chaos still locked in his cage.
You got pictures of me having sex with Courtney Love!
Uh-oh.
Chaos explains to Hindsight how the Cow tricked him, and that was all Chaos did in this episode. I guess he was simply too dangerous to be unchained. Chaos also comes back for the finale of the trilogy, where the Cow returns to apologize to Cow and Friends and tell them that there's a double rainbow outside.
All right, look, you guys were totally right, okay? That's all I wanted to say. That and there's a double rainbow outside.
In a shocking twist no one saw coming, it's just a trap. So his new buddy, Cthulhu, can transport them to another dimension.
Cthulhu! Banish them to a dark oblivion, please!
The Cow then unleashes havoc on the world, and with the help of his new friend Cthulhu,
It's burning
party in the world, baby!
He actually ends up doing some pretty good things. In the end, Cow and Cthulhu are defeated by Mintberry Crunch, and the trilogy ends with the Cow being locked together with Chaos in prison.
Professor Chaos!
Oh my god!
In the episode City Sushi, for reasons I won't mention, Butters is going to a therapist, Dr. Janus.
There's been an Asian turf war, sir, and your son appears to have caused it.
Obviously, they discuss Professor Chaos as one of his supposed split personalities.
And is there someone else living with you? Someone named Professor Chaos?
Dr. Janus even speculates that Chaos lives inside Butters' head and wants to kill him.
He's a bad man. He doesn't like Butters, does he? Does Professor Chaos want to murder Butters?
And one thing's for sure, Dr. Janus is a true expert on split personalities.
Billy's a pretty messed up kid. He was molested by his uncle, you see.
Dr. Janus isn't going to be alive for long. I'm going to kill him.
Now, what are the things that make you happy, Butters?
In the episode Butterballs, Professor Chaos meets his biggest rival yet. Throughout the episode, Butters is bullied by his grandma, which is probably the most Butters thing ever.
Oh, hello.
But in the final, desperate attempt to deal with his bully, Butters decides to fight back the only way he knows how, going Chaos style on her ass. Chaos storms into her room, ready to confront her once and for all. But to his shock, he is met by her supervillain alter ego.
Oh, look, it's Captain Pussy.
It becomes an apprentice versus master. In their epic showdown, she uses her ultimate move, Gummy Bears, and Chaos is defeated by her cruelty once again. But in the end, Butters uses his greatest ability, killing with kindness. Him and Chaos ultimately wins.
And that little pain under your butt to pee in? Well, I'll come visit you. I'll come just to show you that I'm still alive and I'm still happy. And you'll die.
The next time we see Chaos is in the episode Sarcastaball, but only for a little glimpse. Butters shows Cartman all the good feelings he has been hiding in his closet. And tucked away in there, we get a little glimpse of his supervillain suit. Cause you never know when you're gonna need a little chaos.
No, Dad, I'm not looking at boobies.
Professor Chaos returns in the franchise prequel. Cow and friends are busy planning their superhero franchise and talking about how Netflix is so desperate that they're buying every crappy TV series out there. So it's the perfect time to make millions. In the middle of presenting this plan, Super Craig calls and tells them someone's been spreading lies and disinformation about the franchise. Turns out Chaos is behind the whole thing. We then see how Chaos has created his own company to spread fake news.
Let's really fuck shit up!
With the franchise at risk and Netflix putting everything on hold while their reputation is in shambles, Cow and friends are desperate for answers. They decide to confront Chaos and uncovers that he has been in cahoots with Zuckerberg, paying him millions.
Why are you protecting him?
Simple. He paid me $17.23.
So Cow and friends come up with a brilliant plan to take Zuckerberg down using his very own Facebook method. By spreading misinformation, they attack Zuckerberg, making sure Token, Kyle and Jimmy all get hit by him. Then Cartman goes on a rant claiming Zuckerberg is silencing them for speaking up for Black, handicapped and Jewish rights. It's then revealed that the whole thing was streamed live on Facebook.
Facebook says it's true.
No! No!
So Zuckerberg is forced to shut Facebook down, which ends Chaos's operation. But things are about to get a whole lot worse, because Chaos is yet to face his worst enemy.
You're the one who started all this?
Uh-oh.
His own father, who is furious after finding out Butters was behind the scheme that terrorized the town. He drags him all the way to Russia, just so he can yell at both Putin and Chaos.
Answer me! Нет.
Currently, the last Professor Chaos episode to be released is A Boy and a Priest, where he appears during the friendship montage, playing with the priest like they're best buddies, which is totally normal, by the way. Just a 9-year-old boy hanging out with a full-grown adult priest. You know, the Vatican special.
Send in a cleanup crew, now!
But one thing's for sure, the world hasn't seen the last of Chaos.
Hang up. Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. Intel has told us there are at least 7.
Okay, I already see one. Give me. Okay.
They're the same picture.